Hello. Blade and Soul Neo will be released on the 25th of February. This has only just come out yesterday, I believe. And we still don't have any information about Arena or not really a whole lot of information at all. I did originally make a video, or I was getting through a video, in which I was going to go through every single system and change in Neo, but I quite quickly realized the scope of that is way too large, and I'd be making a 40-minute video, and I would probably also not release it for weeks, and by that time the game's going to be out. So, what I've done is I have made a list in the official Discord that goes through, I think, over 40 changes. I have a small explanation for each of them. And basically, if you're interested in Neo and you want to see what's different, because this is not a classic server, this is a restart, which has some classic elements, but also has a lot of elements of modern BNS, which haven't necessarily helped the game. I said this last video, if you haven't watched that, probably a good point to maybe go check that out. But yeah, as you can see here, even on Korea, people are still fighting in Mushin's Tower. That's because there's no arena. And as it looks right now, we might be getting the same. However, Ronan has said that he is looking to give us some more information over the coming weeks. Because now that they've put the release date out, they're able to share more. So keep an eye out for that. But if you want to get updated as to what's happening with Neo or what you can expect to get, if you join the official Discord, I might even make a Google Docs document for this and put it in the description or the comments of this YouTube video, so people that don't have Discord can see this as well. But if you go into the Discord, into the Neo discussion, sort of the forum channel there, you will be able to find everything that I have posted. It isn't exhaustive. I am always adding to it because there's things that I'll forget. And it isn't super detailed, but if you are interested in anything, you just ask in the replies and I will give you as much detail as I can, or someone else will chip it. So yeah, that is the go-to there, if you want to have a look at the changes. So we are pretty close to a release. So now I'm going to play a little bit of PvP clips in the background. Obviously, nothing from Arena, because it doesn't exist still. So these clips are from me with 200 MS on the Korean server against with decent Korean players with 2 MS or so. Don't take this as face value of how the class works. I do a lot of things that are specific to my ping level on Korea. So just sort of giving you guys a little look at what the kits work like on Neo. So I personally believe that it does sort of represent old BNS. I know I just did, his entire HP bar. However, at its core, BNS Neo does feel like classic Blade and Soul. When you get past the stuff like your skill books on your accessories, when you get that all set up, and you start fighting someone or you start doing PvE or whatnot, it does feel like old BNS. Now, I did do a sort of podcast thing with Canon XO, who's doing a lot of stuff for BNS Neo, giving it quite a lot of exposure. And after going through there for quite a bit and talking with Yasin, who's another player that I know and that's played Korean Neo with me, I sort of realised my last video I am being quite pessimistic. There is no arena, I've already said this 2 times already, in Neo so far, but at its core, Neo could be a good game. If they stamp out some of these problems, I would probably give Neo, with an arena, with extra endgame content, I would give Neo about an 8 out of 10. Now, if you want to hear more detailed explanations on why I think that, check out the podcast I did with Canon and Yasin. I do go into more detail. You get a understanding from Yasin's side as well, who had a bit of a different experience to me. But I now want to talk about sort of the timeline that NC America has put forward for the Blade and Soul Neo Western release. So on the 11th of February, we will be able to pre-download the Neo client, which I recommend you do first in case you've got any complications or anything, because this sort of goes hand in hand with your character creation. On the 18th of February, you will be able to create your character. So if you've got an old preset from retail, these will all work, or should all work, with Neo. So you can chuck that straight into Neo and it should work. But this is mostly to reserve your name, to get your character looking how you want, and to get on the server that you want. We don't know the names of the servers yet. I would have to assume that we're getting stuff like Windrest, Angler's Watch, Starfall Crater, Twin Wagons. Those were the EU ones. I can't really remember what the NA ones were called because I didn't play NA. But that's what we're getting. Character creation on the 18th. Then finally, on February 25th, we have the launch. I've played the Chinese release date and the Korean release date. And I've got to say, if you've got time that you can take off work or set aside time for it, I do very much recommend playing a release day of BNS. Even if the game's not good, it is really, really, really nice to see BNS active again. On that note, some people have expressed concerns about, release dates of MMO being hard to last hit mobs, hard to tag your mobs, long queues, all that kind of stuff. That will most likely be present. I haven't had an issue with neither the queue or the tagging of mobs or anything. I got through the story probably quicker than about 95% of people in China and Korea. So I'd say on release day, if you're able to get in as soon as it opens, you'll probably have a fine time. Even if your game crashes, if you disconnect, you have a 10-minute grace period where as long as you open the game again and log in, you won't have to get through a queue, which is really nice. I don't know, maybe that's common practice everywhere, but it's something that I found really, really nice in Korea, because sometimes I'd DC with the ping booster that I'd used or whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, as for, I suppose, if you're planning that you're going to play Neo, but don't know a whole lot about the game, maybe you played Blade and Soul back in the day and have since moved on to other sort of ventures. You want to get back up to speed? There are a few things that you might want to research, like the classes. In Neo, you're only going to have the original 7. So, BM, BD, Destro, Sin, FM, Summoner, and KFM. Now, it is hard for you to find this content, especially if you're specifically looking for Neo. Like, original Blade and Soul videos will work for you. Neo is a bit different, it has different skills, but if you want to get a gist of the class, you can still look at original Blade and Soul videos. As for Neo content specifically, there isn't much English content out there. Apart from myself, I do know a few friends that have videos of their DPS passes and whatnot that I could link you, but in terms of commentary or whatnot, most of it's going to be Korean. If you want to see maybe KFM, Sin, all that kind of stuff, give me a shout in the comments and I'll try to do a little bit of research and see if I can find anything. However, it might be a little bit hard for you to find it on your own. With that all said and done, I will be ending this video off here. If you do want more information about Blade and Soul Neo, I would very much recommend joining the Blade and Soul official Discord. If you want to get in with the PvP community, there is the PvP community Discord down in the description, BNS PvP. And I hope to see you guys on the other side. Enjoy Neo. I'll try my hardest to do so as well. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this, please leave me a like, a comment, a subscription, all that kind of stuff. Fine if you don't. But I will be trying to put out more Neo videos in the future. Hopefully a lot more when Western release comes out. But until then, see you around.